More gang, it's been a few months now since the tragic mass shooting in Stockton, California that claimed the lives of 3 children and an adult and left over a dozen people wounded. Now, you might remember that I actually went to the scene of this incident to basically report on what happened, to tell the story of the deadly drill gang war that actually led up to this shooting. And there's actually some new information and some new developments that are coming out in the hunt for whoever was responsible for this senseless shooting. Now, I'm going to play you a little bit of the video that I made about this just to give you a little refresher of what happened, and then I'm going to tell you about some of the new things that are coming out related to this situation, and the authorities might be getting a little bit closer to working out what's going on. On November the 29th, 2025, around 100 people gathered at a venue called Monkey Space in the 1900 block of Lucille Avenue in North Stockton to celebrate the birthday of a toddler who, according to some online rumors, was the daughter of Nano MB. The event was organized by the daughter's mother, and in attendance were allegedly numerous known members of the Muddy Boys and Fly Boys, including Nano MB himself, as well as the rappers MB Nell and Flyboy Dougie, aka Dougie Threes. Just before the birthday cake was to be cut shortly before 6 p.m, several gunmen dressed in all black and covering their faces with masks would enter the venue, opening fire at the guests and sending the party into complete chaos. Sounds of the shooting were recorded on a nearby security camera, the audio capturing what sounded like semi-automatic weapons going off, a few shots followed by a short break before a sustained firing that sounded like dozens of shots going off in just a few seconds. Afterwards, as reporters would interview neighbors who heard the shooting, one man would recall how there had been 3 separate bursts of gunfire.
There was 3 sets of gunfire. The first set there was a lot of rounds. I'm not sure exactly how many, and then they sounded kind of fireworky, and so I wasn't really too concerned about it. But then the next 2 sets came. Gunfire came probably maybe a minute later.
After the smoke cleared, as the police and rescue personnel flooded the scene, they would find that 17 people were shot, including kids and adults, and most tragically, 4 of them would end up succumbing to their injuries, including 3 children aged 8, 9, and 14, along with a 21-year-old man. The media would arrive soon after, finding a chaotic scene with numerous police cars stretched along the area near the location of the shooting, while numerous high-ranking city officials would gather to address the press.
They're advising 12 people have been shot.
We're doing CPR on 1 possible 12-year-old.
We have a 9-year-old that was shot.
We're following breaking news out of...
So look, it was a really tragic and senseless incident, and there's been a lot of media and reporting that's gone on since. Obviously, I did kind of a full breakdown of the gang war and the rap beef that was going on in Stockton leading up to this incident, and there's been a lot of really tragic other pieces of reporting on it. The father of one of the victims, Amari, he recounted the tragic moments at the scene of the party, and he basically described feeling like he was put in a position where he had to decide which one of his children he would have to try and protect first. So it was harrowing.
And I didn't go there because of these people were going to be there. I just went there because my wife wanted to go, because they asked to bring my baby girl over there. Because it was a baby's party. So we wanted our babies to be together. I didn't know all these other people was going to be there and be doing all this crazy mess. So, like, I ain't gonna never let us down, and I don't feel safe. My kids don't feel safe. My wife don't feel safe. The hardest thing was, like, okay, is bullets flying? Which baby do I go for? Which one do I go for? Then people running everywhere. I'm like, oh, I didn't lost sight of him. I'm like, damn, I gotta find. She was the first one that I seen, so I grabbed her. Yeah. Then he was the second one, but it was too late. So I don't know, maybe I should have just went for him first. Maybe I should have just, knowing that I heard the gunshots, I should have just ran to him first. Oh my.
It's heartbreaking, man. It's so heartbreaking. Now, as there's been a lot of talk about, you know, the targets of the shooting, the young rappers that were kind of involved in this ongoing drill gangster rap feud in Stockton. And according to reports, the rapper MB Nell, who was kind of involved in this big beef, basically, he was apparently shot at the party and went into hiding immediately afterwards. So this is a post that was going around where basically, you know, I believe his father actually came out to kind of speak about what was going on. It said, rapper targeted in Stockton mass shooting is hiding out, fearing for his life after being shot at little girl's birthday party, his father said. And his father would basically explain that, you know, MB Nell would be hiding out, fearing for his life. And there would be a lot of kind of... you know, there would be a lot of debate as to whether the father was talking too much, whether he shouldn't have done that. But essentially, a lot of rumors and speculation about who was responsible would circulate, and they would basically link 2 possible gangs to the shooting. One of them being the West Side Lewis Park Piru Bloods. Basically, they're saying that both the Fly Boys, who were the victims, and the Lewis Park Pirus, who were the alleged shooters, had Tommy G episodes in the lead up to the incident. And, Tommy G is obviously very well known for going and reporting on, violence and gangs in different areas, different hoods. And, unknowingly, he'd actually gone and made separate videos on people on both sides of this deadly gang war. People saying, will he be used in the federal indictment? They already know. Lewis Park also had someone recently, about a year or less ago, go down for shooting a police officer. These guys are really major crash outs. I mean, that's pretty terrifying. But like, they're saying Lewis Park Bloods, not Pyrus. Apparently they're not Pyrus. They are Pyrus. Some people are saying. Anyway, okay. Another gang that a lot of people were thinking might have had something to do with this was, of course, EBK, the Everybody Killers, most known for the rapper EBK Jabo, who are closely allied with the Lewis Park Bloods. However, members from EBK would come out immediately after the shooting and deny responsibility. They would separate themselves, but at the same time, who would want to be associated with this, especially if you did actually do it? I'm not saying they definitely did it, but I am saying that they are on the opposing side of the gang war of the people that got shot and were targeted in this incident. So this was EBK members reacting to the MB Nell shooting. This is EBK Lebo saying, stop tagging us, we don't condone that. EBK Lil Play saying violence towards kids is unacceptable, we don't condone none of that, like at all. Plus, we're all in jail, clear our names from this shenanigan, free the innocent. People saying, stop tagging us, we don't condone that. Saying, no, we don't do anything with kids. EBK versus everybody, we don't like you guys either. Saying, so we killing hella kids and stuff now. Bunch of tomatoes. Saying, lol, we all in jail. So a lot of them were in jail, unfortunately. But, okay, there would be a serious hunt for justice. Now, in the month after this actually happening, in December of 2025, the reward being offered for any information to basically try and solve the case would actually raise up to $130,000, as the FBI and the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, would actually join the case. So there'd be federal support, $130,000. And I did literally go to this location and see what was going on. It was really, really sad. So it says authorities continue to hunt for the killers involved in Saturday's mass shooting. Rewards for information on the case have grown to $130,000. On Friday, Stockton's Crime Stoppers announced it had increased its reward to $55,000 for any information leading to the arrest of those responsible for the attack, which killed 4 people, 3 of them children. The offer included $10,000 from Mayor Christina Fugazi, $5,000 from City Council member Mariela Ponce, and unlike some reward offers, Crime Stoppers noted a conviction of the perpetrators was not required. They just need info. The agency said the cash reward was payable upon the arrest of a suspect or suspects in this imaginable crime, and federal agencies are also providing rewards in an effort to draw out information from the public. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives announced Friday they're offering up to $20,000, and the ATF is just one of several agencies working with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office on the investigation. And earlier in the week, the FBI said it was offering a reward of up to $50,000. So essentially, you can make a bag if you want to turn some of these guys in now. Okay, roughly, kind of for the first time in roughly 50 days since it happening. Okay, in mid-January, the police would finally release some information. They would actually release photos of the vehicles apparently used in the drill as seen on surveillance video. This has not really been seen.
On that dark November night where 4 people were killed and 13 others were injured, investigators now say these 2 cars were somehow involved.
This revitalizes the case. This brings new media attention, new interest.
These images mark the first public lead investigators have released, and former San Joaquin County District Attorney Tori Verbo Salazar says that may be intentional.
From an investigator standpoint, why would they release these now?
Because you need to move this case. You need to shake it up. It'll go stale fast. And, other cases come along, detectives get busy, other shootings happen, things keep moving. And so it's hard to keep putting the enormous amount of resources that they put towards this case without seeing some progress.
Earlier this month, the sheriff said investigators had received more than 6,000 hours of video in the case. His office has not confirmed whether these newly released photos came from that footage.
Oh, they just need a break. Somebody's going to recognize this vehicle and said, my neighbor drives that car. Or I've seen, that night I saw my neighbor speed down the street. It'll start to put the pieces together.
As law enforcement.
So it did. Apparently it did. And within sort of less than a month of that happening, as of 2 days ago, only 2 days before I'm making this video on February the 5th, investigators would actually announce that these very vehicles have been found and seized for evidence. So whoever was driving these cars is in a lot of trouble.
We're following breaking news in San Joaquin County right now. The sheriff's office says they have located 2 vehicles believed to be tied to the Stockton mass shooting in November, where 4 people were killed, 13 others were injured, including children. Officials say they've been processed for evidence. They're now collecting DNA. Investigators previously said these cars were spotted on surveillance footage from the night of that deadly shooting. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office.
Now, look, I'm no big time gangster, right? But from what I understand, and if you watch my video about the Chicago shooting that happened a few days ago, if you do something this serious, I'm not condoning it. I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but if something this serious goes down, people usually burn the vehicles afterwards. The fact these vehicles have been found intact is very, very bad for those involved. There's not just potentially DNA evidence inside these vehicles, could be fingerprints, could be any kind of, you know, links to the people. Even if they're stolen cars, they're going to be able to track and trace where they've been. There could be electronic onboard data that tells where these cars have been, where they've traveled. There might even be any kind of other sort of, like, not recording devices, but I've heard in cases before where people have connected their cars to their phones with Apple CarPlay. That data is going to track you to the vehicle. Even if you didn't take your phone on the drill, you put your Apple CarPlay on after you stole the car, you in a lot of trouble. Okay. So these guys are cooked, right? And this is new information. There's not really many views on this. This has got just 1,000 views. There's no comments on it. But people on Reddit have reacted to the news, and they've basically been saying that the shooters are about to be cooked. Okay. This is more photographs of the cars. People saying them boys in blue are coming soon. This is one of the vehicles. Okay, so they'd like to thank the community for their partnership and continued support. We've identified and recovered both vehicles of interest used in the Stockton mass shooting. The vehicles have been processed for evidence, and we're in process of collecting DNA comparison. Okay, it says 5-0 in Stockton. They said they found the whips that was used in the mass shooting that took place back in November. I'm not going to say what it says next. They're saying they really didn't burn them cars up. Not at all. So once the feds got into the mix, there was no way this case was going cold. It says New York and Cali is 2 places you ain't getting away with nothing, especially not something like that. They're going to make sure the crime gets solved by any means. It says no cap. In California, everyone go inside after popping a couple shots and missing. It says their own people are snitching for immunity and future favors from the police department and the feds. Everyone a real one until they hear the sirens getting closer and closer. 95% of all cases are solved by someone snitching. And if there's a $130,000 reward, you might as well collect. It says this, gangbanging is only real outside of the interrogation room. This guy says, I live in Stockton. This is for real. Hopefully they get these guys. 3 children were killed as well as an adult. I have kids too, bro. That was not all right. It says they know who did it. They've been watching them for months, building up a RICO. The whole gang's going to be extinct. That's what it's going to be. Okay, unfortunately, that is what's going to be. They're saying they better do the race because they're coming soon to a hood near you. So look, okay, I feel like this was a very heinous crime. I personally, as much as we like drill music, gangster rap, all that stuff, when kids start losing their lives, yeah, we're going to have to wrap it all up. Everybody's going to have to go to jail. We're going to have to, like, sets are going to have to go extinct, okay? You guys, it's over with, okay? It's very, very unfortunate, and I think this just goes to show people the real consequences of this gang lifestyle. It's not to be condoned. It's not to be glorified. It really isn't success. Like, it's no path to success. It's not acceptable, and this really is the darkest outcome that can happen. It's all well and good. You're doing hits on your ops. You're shooting at the... But this is really how it can go wrong. When firearms are basically used recklessly, and, you know, it's all well and good, oh, shooting at the ops, no one cares. You're going to jail, you're going to be put away forever, and it's what needs to happen. It's very unfortunate. So I can't condone it. I think they will have some more updates on this soon, and I will keep you guys informed because you know there's a big RICO, you know there's a big arrest coming. Somebody's going to collect that $130,000, and I will be sure to break it down when it happens. So thank you for watching. If you want to know more about this situation, go to my main channel, Trap Law Ross, where I've got a full 2-hour breakdown of the whole feud and saga that actually led up to this incident going down. I appreciate you watching this breakdown and everything else that I do. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next video, gang. Peace.